Are you sure this is the right planet? Mira's voice cut through the hum of the orbital scanner, a mixture of skepticism and thrill. Her eyes sparkled under the cold green glow of the console. Kael leaned back, one hand resting casually on the railing, the other flicking a tablet that blinked warnings. Sure enough. Coordinates check, atmosphere breathable, and bonus no immediate orbital defenses. Easy pickings. His grin was sharp, dangerous, but his voice carried the unmistakable swagger that humans wore like armor. Mira's jaw tightened. Easy pickings? Kael, these signals. They're laughing at us. The scanner hummed, a low, vibrating chuckle that twisted through the air like liquid metal. The crew froze. On the monitor, the planet spun beneath them, a jewel of sapphire oceans and swirling clouds. Yet the laughter, it was alive. Kael's brow arched, amused. Laughing? Well, if they think they're scary, let them. Humans don't cower. Even as he said it, Mira shivered, not from fear, but from that uncanny certainty that something out there was thinking faster than them, mocking faster, smarter. Do you feel it? Whispered Toma, the youngest navigator, gripping his chair. Like it knows us before we even think. Kael's eyes flickered. Then let's make it guess wrong. Humans are never predictable. That's the whole point. Mira stared at the swirling clouds. They're waiting. The laughter deepened, folding into a melody of multiple voices, alien yet eerily familiar in rhythm. The crew could hear it through bone and metal alike. A flash on the screen, a geometric formation rising from the ocean, dark spires reaching for the sky. The sensors failed to classify it. Time slowed. The crew held their breath. Kael's hand hovered over the emergency protocols, but he didn't press anything. Instead, he stepped closer to the viewport, the faintest smirk playing on his lips. Well, they look dramatic. But humans make drama better. Mira swallowed hard. You really think swagger alone will save us if this, whatever this is, attacks? Kael's eyes gleamed. Swagger is thinking. Swagger is reading your enemy before they read you. That, my dear Mira, is humanity's edge. A ripple on the ocean surface, then another. Lights pulsed in the spires, thousands of them scanning, probing, almost laughing. The sound penetrated the ship's hull, low and vibrating, a warning no human language could capture. Yet Kael laughed loud, echoing off the walls. Guess they don't know humans can adapt on the fly, he said, voice confident. Time to show them why they should never laugh first. Mira felt a flicker of hope. Against the impossible, against the alien intelligence that laughed like gods, Kael's confidence was infectious. And maybe, just maybe, humanity had something these beings couldn't calculate. Audacity. Suddenly the screens flashed red. Incoming transmission, Toma cried, voice trembling. Symbols danced in impossible sequences, folding on themselves, then stopping abruptly. The laughter paused. Silence, dense and deliberate. Mira's heart skipped. They're waiting for our move. Kael's grin widened. Then let's give them one. But not just any move. The one they'll never forget. Outside, the spires shimmered. The water churned. Time itself seemed to hold its breath. And humanity was about to answer the first laugh with one louder, sharper, and infinitely bolder. The ship shuddered as the alien transmission pulsed again, a pattern that twisted and folded across every monitor. Toma's fingers flew over the console, translating, decoding, failing. It's not language. Not anything we've ever seen. It's thinking in motion. Kael leaned over, eyes narrowing, amused. Perfect. Motion thinking. Humans can read motion. Watch. He stepped to the viewport, letting the hum of the spires wash over him. They're showing us power, fear, precision, but they haven't seen boldness. That's where we win, Mira frowned. Boldness isn't enough if they can predict every step we take. Kael, they're smarter than us. Kael shrugged. Smarter, maybe. But smarter doesn't mean faster at improvisation. Smarter doesn't mean courageous. Humans always have that edge. The spires pulsed again, faster, sharper, like synchronized drum beats. The laughter returned, but this time it carried impatience, curiosity, almost expectation. Mira swallowed hard. The thought occurred to her. These beings weren't just intelligent, they were entertained by human choices. Entertained? Toma whispered. You mean, we're a show? Kael smirked. Exactly. But humans don't play to entertain, they play to win. Suddenly one spire split, a jagged shard shooting upward and releasing a column of light. It struck the ocean, and the surface rippled violently, sending waves slamming against the floating platform below. Alarms screamed. Mira gripped the console. They just tested us, Kael's grin widened. And we're still here. Still breathing. That's round one. Toma shook his head. Round one? They could obliterate us. This isn't a game. Neither is life, Toma, Kael said, calm as the storm outside. We adapt. We improvise. We dominate. That's why we're human. Watch. Kael tapped a series of inputs. Small drones detached from the ship hovering toward the spires with a flicker of human ingenuity. Sensors, scanners, holographic projectors. The spires responded instantly, twisting, reconfiguring. The laughter shifted, curious, amused, probing. Mira's heart pounded. They're learning our patterns. Every move we make, they adjust. Kyle's eyes glinted. Exactly. So we break patterns. Humans never follow the same plan twice. That's our strength. You can predict their logic, but never their audacity. The spires hummed, sending pulses that resonated through the ship's hull. For a moment, every crew member felt as if the entire ocean had turned alive, staring, judging. Mira's hand hovered over the emergency override. Kael stopped her. Don't you feel that? They expect fear. They anticipate panic. But they don't expect resolve. That's our secret. A bright streak flashed from the central spire, a beam slicing through the water toward the drones. For a heartbeat, it looked like annihilation. Then Kael's drones shifted, scattering unpredictably, drawing the beam harmlessly into the ocean. The laughter rose, louder, layered, impossible to locate. Yet Kael laughed too, high, confident, echoing over the sensors. They think they're in control. We'll let them think. Then we strike where it hurts. Not with brute force, but with brains. Mira caught his eye. Brains alone? Or swagger too? Kael's smirk turned mischievous. Brains are logic. Swagger is chaos. Mix them right, and no alien, no matter how clever, can ever fully anticipate us. The spires pulsed once more, then slowed. The water stilled almost respectfully. The alien laughter softened, curious, almost waiting, expecting their next move. Toma exhaled, trembling. They're playing with us. Testing everything, Kael crossed his arms. And we're learning their game faster. They laugh first, fine, but humans always laugh last. Outside, the ocean shimmered, dark and endless, the spires watching, waiting. The transmission pulsed again. A single, perfect sequence. A challenge. Mira's chest tightened. Kael, what now? Kael's grin was all human defiance. Now we show them what laughter sounds like when it's ours. And trust me, it's louder. The countdown had begun. Time was slipping. The aliens expected hesitation. Humans never hesitated. And for the first time, the laughter on the other side of the ocean didn't feel mocking. It felt like anticipation. For a fight they couldn't fully predict. The transmission's pulse lingered in the air like a heartbeat, rhythmic and precise. Mira stared at the spires reflecting in the ocean below, their jagged silhouettes stabbing the dark waves. They're not just intelligent. They're calculating us, anticipating every reaction. Kael shrugged, leaning against the railing with effortless confidence. Good. That means they can be predicted, just not with their rules. Humans don't play by alien rules. Toma's hands shook as he typed furiously. They're analyzing the drones, the ship's energy signatures. Every movement we've made. If we don't act soon, they'll know our full pattern. Kael's grin widened. Then we act differently. Humans always think 3 steps ahead. Sometimes 10. They'll never guess our improvisation. Mira's eyes narrowed. Improvisation is fine until their reactions become faster than our thinking. Then we make it personal, Kael said, tone low, confident. We introduce unpredictability. Emotion, swagger, that's a language they can't master. Suddenly the ocean shimmered violently. The spires shifted, spinning like a living storm, and the laughter erupted. Not sound, not vibration, but a psychic pulse that hammered the crew's minds. Panic fluttered in Toma's chest. Mira's vision blurred for a second. Kael? He stood steady, eyes bright, smirking. They think they scare us, he said quietly. Let them try. The ship's drones moved in new formations, zigzagging unpredictably, projecting holographic decoys. The spires reacted instantly, beams slicing through the water, but every strike missed. The laughter grew sharper, more frustrated, as if the aliens realized humans weren't reacting the way they expected. Mira swallowed. It's like, we're dancing with them and somehow we're leading, Kael chuckled loud and deliberate. Exactly. They calculate with cold logic. Humans dance with chaos. That's why we win, Toma shivered. I've never felt an intelligence so invasive. It's like it's inside my thoughts. Kael placed a firm hand on his shoulder. Let it in, feel it. Understand it. Then break it. That's human strength. Resilience, cunning, fear turned into fuel. The spires pulsed again, faster this time, sending concentric waves through the ocean and the hull. Mira gritted her teeth. They're testing our limits. If they overwhelm the hull, Kael... Don't worry, Kael interrupted with a wink. Humans built this ship with flaws we plan to exploit. Every weakness has a counter. That's thinking ahead. Suddenly one spire detached, rising like a spear. Its tip glowed with blinding energy, and Kael raised a hand. Time for a little chaos. He triggered a hidden sequence in the drones. Tiny decoys burst into dozens of mirrored forms, racing toward the spire from multiple angles. The alien beam struck one decoy and shattered, but others reached the spire's base, projecting a holographic image of the ship, an illusion of boldness. The laughter twisted, almost a hiss of disbelief. The spire trembled, then pulsed violently, emitting waves of light that rippled across the ocean. Humans braced. The waves struck the hull but dissipated harmlessly against Kael's calculated evasive maneuvers. Mira blinked. They didn't expect that. Kael's grin was wide, almost feral. Never underestimate human improvisation. They calculate the predictable. We write our own rules. For a moment, silence hung in the air. The spires floated motionless, pulsing faintly, observing. Then a single beam shot skyward, slicing the clouds with a brilliance that painted the ocean red. The laughter returned, layered and complex, almost acknowledging. Respect, maybe? Toma whispered, voice trembling. Are they? Impressed? Kael laughed, the sound full of triumph. They'll learn soon enough. Humans laugh last. And when we do, it echoes. Mira finally allowed herself a smile. I think, for the first time, they're not just playing with us. They're learning from us. Kael's eyes gleamed, sharp and predatory. Good, let them learn. Let them adapt. That only makes the victory sweeter. Humans don't just survive. We dominate, we innovate. We leave marks no alien calculation can erase. Outside, the ocean stilled. The spires hovered like statues, silent but watching. The first sparks of dawn touched the horizon, glinting off the pulsing energy. Humanity had survived the initial test, and the game had only just begun. Mira's hands trembled slightly as she watched the spires pulse beneath the darkening sky. Kael, we can't keep reacting. At some point we have to do something. Kael turned, smirk sharp as a blade. Exactly. Humans don't survive by waiting. We dominate by moving first. And hitting smart, Toma swallowed. But if we strike wrong, they could annihilate us. This isn't a test anymore. This is war. Kael's gaze swept the ocean. Toma, war isn't about fear. It's about imagination. And imagination? Humans have it in spades, Mira bit her lip. We're talking about a species that thinks faster than us, predicts faster than us, and laughs at our attempts. How do you outthink that? Kael's grin widened. By not thinking like them. That's the key. They see patterns. We break patterns. He keyed a series of inputs. From the ship, dozens of drones detached carrying modular payloads. Some were decoys, others carried kinetic projectiles. But the real weapon was unseen. A human-designed electromagnetic pulse, small but precise, capable of disrupting alien calculations for crucial seconds. Mira's eyes widened. You're risking everything on chaos? Kael's voice was calm, confident. Chaos is predictable to predictable minds. To minds like theirs, it's unthinkable. The spires pulsed in response. The alien laughter rose, sharper, layered, almost mocking. But then as the first human drones advanced in seemingly erratic arcs, the spires twisted, converging, sending beams that split and danced across the water. Mira's stomach lurched. The beams sliced the waves, creating explosions of light and fire. Toma flinched. They're responding faster than ever. They're learning mid-battle. Kael's eyes gleamed, his voice low and dangerous. Let them. Humans learn faster. Watch closely. He triggered the hidden EMP sequence. A wave of energy radiated outward from the drones. The spires wavered, shimmered, then froze momentarily, the pulse disrupting their calculations. For a precious second, the ocean was theirs. Mira's heart raced. They didn't anticipate that. Kael leaned over the console, tapping rapidly. Not everything is anticipation. Some things are creation, and humans create on instinct, on audacity. That's a move no algorithm predicts. The spires pulsed violently, almost as if in protest. Then a new sound rippled through the water. Not laughter this time, but a tone of warning. The pulse resonated in the ship's hull, vibrating bone deep. Mira staggered. Toma fell against the console. Kael laughed, loud, human, defiant. Did you feel that? Mira whispered, voice tight. It's like it's scared. Kael's grin was sharp, almost feral. Not scared, curious. Adaptation is its fear. Humans make fear a weapon, not a cage. The spires erupted suddenly. Jets of water, energy, and light shot toward the drones. Some were destroyed, others scattered. But the humans were ready. Each move they made was calculated chaos, unpredictable, audacious, and beautifully human. Toma gasped, awe breaking through fear. We're actually pushing them back. Kael's voice cut through the noise. Humans laugh last. Never forget that. You survive by hitting when they don't expect it. By creating moves they cannot calculate. Mira nodded, her fear morphing into exhilaration. We're rewriting the rules of engagement. They don't know us yet. Kael's grin deepened. Exactly. And when they finally do, it will be too late. Humanity doesn't just survive intelligence like this. We dominate it, we teach it, we make it remember us. Outside, the ocean glowed with flashes of energy, spires splitting and reconfiguring, human drones darting between beams, projecting illusions and chaotic formations. The alien laughter, once mocking, now carried tension, respect, and anticipation. Mira clenched her fists. Kael, how long before they strike back full force? Kael's eyes glittered, unwavering. Long enough for us to show them what humans are made of. Short enough to keep them guessing, and that is the sound of victory waiting to happen. The first human salvo had landed. The spires trembled. The laughter shifted, less mocking, more aware. Humanity had taken the first real step in this battle. But both Kael and Mira knew this was only the beginning. Somewhere deep in the alien intelligence, a new calculation was forming. One that would force humanity to think, adapt, and laugh even louder. And humanity was ready. The ocean below the spires boiled with energy, reflecting flashes of light like fractured stars. Mira's eyes were wide, jaw tight as the alarm screamed around the ship. Kael, they're coming back harder, faster. Everything we did, they learned from it. Kael leaned calmly against the console, the picture of human swagger in the face of looming disaster. Exactly. They learned. Good. That means we've changed the game. And humans don't just play the game. We rewrite it. Toma's hands were slick with sweat. Rewrite it? Kael, they're destroying our drones faster than we can deploy them. If they hit the hull, Kael cut him off, voice sharp but steady. Then they'll see the difference between predictability and audacity. Humans don't fear destruction. We engineer around it. Remember that, Mira gritted her teeth. It's not just the drones. Their attacks, they're inside our systems. They're hacking into everything. Communications, navigation, even life support. Kael smirked, tapping a sequence into the console. They're smart. Too smart to ignore. But humans are smarter in ways you can't measure. Time for a little improvisation. Outside, the spires pulsed violently, sending a synchronized wave of energy toward the ship. Each pulse was precise, aimed not to destroy immediately, but to test, probe, and adapt. Mira felt it resonate through her chest. The laughter, once teasing, was now urgent, challenging, almost furious. Kael's voice cut through the tension, calm and commanding. Everyone focus. Predictability kills. Chaos saves. Think human. Act human. And no matter what, never show fear. The crew scrambled. Drones fired decoy signals, generating false energy signatures. The ship shifted in erratic arcs, deliberately unpredictable, drawing the alien pulses away. Mira's hands moved with practiced precision, orchestrating chaos into a defensive dance. Toma whispered, awestruck. They've never seen anything like this. We're messing with their logic. Kael's grin was sharp, almost cruel. Good. Let them try to solve the unsolvable. Humans don't just survive intelligence like this. We overwhelm it with creativity, audacity, and resolve. Then the spires reacted. A massive surge of energy struck the ship, a concentrated beam slicing through space. The hull groaned. Systems flickered. Life support alarm screamed. For a heartbeat, the crew froze. Kael's grin never wavered. This is where humans shine. You improvise. You adapt. You turn fear into fuel. He slammed a hand onto the console. Deploy the real payload. From the ship's hidden bays, a wave of drones surged forward. Not in patterns, but in chaotic formations. Each carried a pulse disruptor, a jolt of human ingenuity designed to momentarily scramble the alien spire's sensors. The ocean erupted in light as beams collided, energy ricocheting unpredictably. Mira's heart pounded. They can't anticipate this. We've thrown off their calculations, Kael's eyes gleamed, and we'll keep doing it. Humans improvise faster than any intelligence can calculate. That's why we laugh last. The alien pulses faltered, momentarily uncoordinated. The laughter, once piercing, now fragmented, echoed across the ocean. Curiosity, confusion, even something like admiration shone through the alien intelligence. Toma exhaled shakily. We're surviving, no, we're winning. Kael's grin widened, his confidence infectious. Not just surviving. We're teaching. Every move we make writes a lesson they didn't know existed, and that's humanity's edge. Mira caught her breath, staring at the chaotic dance of drones and spires. For the first time, she felt something she hadn't allowed herself in weeks. Hope. Not just hope, but pride. Humanity, audacious, brilliant, and relentless, was holding its ground. But deep in the pulsing intelligence of the alien spires, calculations ran wild. Variables exploded. Predictable logic failed. Humans, these unpredictable, bold, reckless humans, had turned every assumption against them. Kael's voice cut through the tension, sharp and triumphant. Aliens laughed first. Fine. But humanity laughs last, and louder. The ocean reflected the chaos, a symphony of light, energy, and human audacity. The battle had reached a new level. Not just survival, but dominance. And somewhere in the deep calculations of the alien intelligence, the first true doubt had formed. The ocean was eerily still now. The spires scattered like broken chess pieces. Mira stared out the viewport, heart pounding, sweat beading on her brow. Kael, we've pushed them back. But for how long? Every pulse, every movement, they're learning still. Kael leaned against the console, a calm smirk playing on his lips. Learning is fine. Humans thrive on learning too. Faster, bolder, unpredictable. That's how we win. Toma shook his head, voice trembling. But Kael, their intelligence is everywhere. It's in the water, the air, even in our sensors. We're fighting a mind, not a machine. What if we break something we can't fix? Kael's grin hardened. Then we adapt. That's what it means to be human. We survive, we improvise, we dominate. Fear is the tool of the weak. Courage is our weapon. Mira's stomach tightened. But there's a line. If we push too hard, we could destroy everything on the planet. Lives we don't even understand. Kael's gaze softened for a moment. True, but hesitation is death. Humans don't hesitate when their survival and legacy is at stake. We do what must be done, and we do it with style. Outside, the spires pulsed faintly, a single, coherent signal stretching across the horizon. The alien laughter had vanished, replaced by a tense, almost silent anticipation. Kael keyed a command, sending a squadron of drones directly into the heart of the largest spire formation. Mira's eyes widened. Kael, they're not just defending now, they're thinking offensively. Every move we make, they counter before we even finish it. Kael's grin didn't waver. Perfect. That means they've underestimated the last human quality, audacity. And humans never underestimate themselves. The drones swirled like a living storm, projecting decoys, energy pulses, and holographic illusions. The spires responded instantly, beams slicing through the waves, but Kael had anticipated every angle. Chaos became strategy. Confusion became dominance, Toma whispered, awed. They're falling into our pattern, or maybe we're falling into theirs. Kael's eyes glimmered. Both. That's the beauty of human improvisation. We don't just react, we create. Every action writes a new rule they can't predict. Suddenly, a massive surge erupted from the central spire, sending a psychic pulse through the ship. Mira staggered, clutching the console, feeling a whisper in her mind. Understand, adapt, submit. Kael laughed, defiant. Submit? Humans don't do that. Not to intellect, not to fear, not to fate. He slammed his fist onto the console. Countermeasures now. The ship shuddered as EMP pulses struck the spires. For a fraction of a second, the alien intelligence faltered. The ocean glowed with energy, the spires struggling to maintain coherence. The silence that followed was deafening. Mira's voice trembled. We actually broke their rhythm. Kael, we did it. Kael's grin was feral, triumphant. We're not just breaking rhythm. We're showing them humans aren't a species to be calculated. We're a force to be reckoned with. But in the moment of victory, a shadow passed across Mira's face. Kael, this is it. If we push too far, too fast, we might destroy them entirely. And is that who we are? Kael's grin softened, his voice steady but unwavering. Mira, humanity isn't just survival. Humanity is thinking, daring, creating, and sometimes choosing the audacious path. If we erase them, it's not malice. It's dominance. And dominance is what humans do best. Outside, the spires pulsed one last time, a synchronized glow across the ocean. The alien intelligence paused, almost contemplative, like a mind realizing it had underestimated its opponent. The silence that followed wasn't empty. It was waiting, watching, learning. Kael's grin turned to a smirk that promised both mischief and mastery. Aliens laughed first, fine, but humanity laughs last. And when we do, they'll hear it everywhere. The crew braced themselves, hearts racing. Every pulse, every movement, every breath counted. The final confrontation wasn't just about survival. It was about proving that human audacity, courage, and intellect could outmatch even the most advanced intelligence in the galaxy. And for the first time, the alien intelligence felt cautious because humans were ready to laugh. The ocean was quiet now, almost impossibly so. The spires hovered like statues, their jagged forms reflecting the first light of dawn. The alien laughter, once mocking and relentless, had vanished. In its place, there was only tension, calculated, waiting, aware. Mira stood at the viewport, pulse racing. Kael, it's quiet. Too quiet, they're thinking. Kael leaned beside her, hands resting casually on the console, a smirk of pure confidence on his lips. Exactly. They think they're in control. But humans have already written the ending, Toma whispered, barely audible. Are we really ready for this? Kael's grin sharpened. We were born ready. Humans always are, and now, it's time to finish the dance. With a flick of his wrist, the ship deployed its final wave of drones, each one carrying a combination of holographic decoys, energy disruptors, and precision EMP pulses. The formations were chaotic, unpredictable, beautiful in their audacity. The spires reacted instantly, beams slicing the ocean, energy arcs flashing like lightning. But humans had anticipated everything. Every pulse, every movement, every strike, Kael had built the ultimate improvisation. The drones split, merged, and projected illusions of infinite ships and weapons. The spires, for the first time, could not keep up. Calculations spiraled into impossibility. Mira's breath caught. They can't adapt fast enough. We've overwhelmed them. Kael's grin was feral, triumphant. Exactly. Humans don't just survive intelligence like this. We dominate it, and this is our signature move. The spires pulsed violently, energy arcing into the sky. Then, as if in resignation, they collapsed one by one, back into the ocean. The alien intelligence, the all-seeing, all-calculating mind that had mocked them, probed them, tested them, paused. And then, Toma exhaled shakily. We did it. We actually did it, Kael laughed, loud and unabashed, echoing through the ship. Aliens laughed first, fine, but humanity laughs last. And when we laugh, it's louder than anything they've ever heard. Mira smiled, awe and relief flooding her chest. It's not just the victory, Kael. It's how we did it. Every move, every risk, every piece of audacity, it was us. Pure human ingenuity. Kael's eyes glimmered. And that, Mira, is the truth of who we are. Humans aren't just clever. We're brave. We're bold. We don't just survive the impossible, we make the impossible ours. The ocean stilled completely. The spires, now inert, reflected the sunlight like broken monuments. Humanity had won not through brute force, not through numbers, not through predictable strategies, but through audacity, improvisation, and the unshakable spirit that made them human. Toma let out a shaky laugh, the sound of pure relief. They'll remember this. Whatever's left of them, they'll remember humans. Kael's grin widened. Let them. They laughed first. Big mistake. Humans always have the last word. And the loudest laugh. Mira turned to him, eyes shining. So, what now? Kael's smirk softened, almost contemplative. Now, we go home. We write the story. Humanity wins again. And we never forget this. The galaxy may have minds faster, stronger, smarter, but no mind can outlaugh a human. Outside, the ocean glinted like liquid gold. The silence that followed wasn't empty. It was reverent, almost respectful. Humanity had shown the galaxy that courage, audacity, and imagination were weapons no intelligence could fully predict. And somewhere, deep in the data remnants of the alien mind, a single thought remained. Unpredictable, unstoppable, human. Kael raised his head to the sky, letting the sunlight warm his face. Aliens laughed first, but we laughed last. And trust me, it sounded amazing. The crew joined him, smiles breaking across their faces, exhausted, exhilarated, alive. They had faced an intelligence beyond imagining and proven that human spirit, audacity, and ingenuity were forces the galaxy could never ignore. And as the ship lifted from the ocean, leaving the inert spires behind, humanity's laugh echoed louder than the waves, louder than the alien intelligence, louder than fear itself. The galaxy had learned one simple truth. Underestimate humans. At your own peril.